Hey guys, this is Danish. I'm back with our free community webinar sessions, and today's session is super important. Everybody was asking for it, and we were literally looking for like when we're gonna get some time with Matt, and finally we are here. So before we dive in, I'm just quickly gonna share my screen and share some resources and some shout outs, and then right after that we will dive in the most wanted webinar session. Here we go. So first shout out I want to give is Visadb.io. I'm a founder. If you're looking for tax and immigration experts anywhere in the world, you go there, you type the country you're looking for, and voila. You can see Matt is also there. And there are other services and offer for taxes for immigration. So it's Visadb. It's funded by European Union. It's amazing service. Check it out. Second shout out, I want to give Safety Wing. They are the cheapest insurance service providers. They want to protect digital nomads when they're traveling. Check them out. There's a link we are sharing. If you go through this link, we can get you, priority support if there is a claim or something in the future. The last shout out I want to give you, SoulGuard is our fellow digital. This brand. This is actually backpacks and suitcases targeting to global citizens. And so yeah, check them out. They're pretty cool products. And let me turn off my screen. And here we are. So guys, today we have a very special guest, Matt from the United States. He's the founder for like 21 years for My Company Works. It's a company which actually helps global entrepreneurs, including the United States, but it doesn't matter, wherever you are, Matt will help you to register your company or business in United States in all 50 states. Yes, you heard me right, in all the 50 states. There are services which we offer you, 2-3 services that Matt offer in all the states. So Matt, I really want to show my gratitude for taking out the time. Thank you very much. And how are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here. Excited to answer all the questions that anyone has about starting a company in the U.S.
Yay. So Matt, I will just dive in straight away. Why entrepreneurs from around the world choose United States to register their businesses, especially online entrepreneurs, e-commerce, startups? What are the reasons?
Well, the obvious one is just the biggest, wealthiest market on earth. China hasn't surpassed us yet, and they have 4 times our population. So if you want access to the biggest market on earth, you got to have a U.S. company. And we're seeing a huge amount of growth in starting selling on Amazon, as an Amazon seller. Mm-hmm. And fulfilled by Amazon. So what the people are doing is they're registering. You can't sell on Amazon unless you have a U.S. company. And the same thing is with Shopify and these other platforms. Sure. So it's very important that you get your U.S. entity straightened out first. Then you basically have access to the whole U.S. market. And then the sky's the limit. So that's why it's important to get a U.S. company.
So if I understood you correctly, if I have a U.S. business with a U.S. address, then it will be a little bit easier to sell to the U.S. customers?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you go and you want to start maybe providing services for locals and U.S. citizens, or maybe you want to start importing and stuff. Listen, you can try to do that with a foreign address and a foreign phone number and stuff, but it's just going to make your life miserable. Just get the U.S. phone number, which we provide, get the U.S. address, and then it doesn't even. And we can get your tax ID too, which is like the social security number, kind of like your identification number for your company. We get all that, and then it's basically like they're dealing with a U.S. company at that point. So then you don't have to do anything different. Sometimes when you go out to fill forms, you can't even use a foreign address, so you're going to want an address anyway. So things like that.
Wow, this sounds actually incredible. And so, of course, we will have entrepreneurs will have access to the U.S. market. But how does it appear for clients in other countries? Let's say, how do Canadians or other countries see a U.S. business entity? Is it equally highly reputable?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's it's the gold standard, and especially if you're going to have a Delaware, Wyoming, or Nevada, that's even the gold standard amongst the U.S. So you know you're dealing with a proper entrepreneur at that point. You know that they've formed their company in a state that protects them well. So lawyers are less likely to go after you because you have if they wanted to sue you, there's a lot of scammy people out there, right? And so if you want to protect yourself, and a lawyer goes after and they go, oh geez, they got a Wyoming LLC, they know there's not a lot they can do to them. So, and same thing with Delaware and Nevada.
We will be actually exploring this specific topic as well about the legal protection LLCs offers. But now we establish that US as a country and registering there has many benefits, not only access to market, but it gives you a gold standard, as you said, to sell our products and services anywhere in the world. This is incredible. We agreed. We are interested. Let's go further. Now, in the United States, there are 50 states. And as per the laws, every state has their own business structures, regulation, and everything. So first question would be, what are the best states for entrepreneurs in the United States to register their businesses?
Well, in the United States, if you're from the United States, it's usually a lot easier and cheaper to just register in the state where you live.
Sure.
That's just a more convenient thing. For digital nomads, definitely Wyoming probably is easily 80% of our digital nomads at this point. A lot of others, if Delaware and Nevada would come right after, like I mentioned, and Delaware would be if you think your company probably is going to perhaps get maybe like venture capital funding or private equity funding and stuff like that, you would probably choose a Delaware over a Wyoming. But for the vast majority of people, they're choosing Wyoming. Wyoming is cheaper. They invented the LLC. They're faster. They're better to deal with. We have an office there. So literally, we don't have an office in every state we operate in, but we definitely have one in Wyoming. So that's in Nevada and Delaware.
Wow.
So, we can serve the customers very well there.
Wow. Thanks, Matt. I'm loving it already. All the information is like a gold. So Nevada, Delaware, and Wyoming. Let's move Nevada on a side. And as you mentioned, if entrepreneurs are from the United States, it's ideal to register where they come from for long-term benefits, even to get some credits and grants. There are a lot of states offer grants so that they can take advantage of that. So it's better for entrepreneurs, for digital nomads like me or like people in the webinar. There are two states you shortlisted, Delaware and Wyoming. So I would ask you, let's pick Wyoming first and let's explore Wyoming. So you mentioned that Wyoming is 80% of choice. Like, other than what would be, you say, top 3 benefits that people are going crazy over Wyoming LLC or corporation?
The main benefits right now are, number one, they're very foreign friendly. It's basically known as the Switzerland of, they call it the Switzerland of the Rockies, which is the Rocky Mountains here in the United States. So everyone is already going there anyway. And like I mentioned earlier, they invented the LLC. I don't think a lot of people know that. They invented the LLC in 1978. So everyone else that has an LLC in their state or their country, they just copied Wyoming. So it's a simplified entity. Their body of law is very, very protective of of whoever owns that LLC. Sure. So if you start a company in California, it's a lot easier to pierce what's called the corporate veil. Now, you call it the LLC or the corporate veil. The corporate veil is when you start a company, you are now doing business as your LLC or your corporation, right? If you get sued, or if you get audited, or if you get in some trouble, they're not going to come after your house and your dog, your car and your dog and everything else. They're going to go after your company. Sure. So if you have, maybe your house is worth a lot of money, but you're just starting your company. Well, if you get sued in California, they're going to say, you know what? We're going to pierce the veil and we're going to go after your house anyway.
Sure.
So
Oh,
you can lose your house by just doing business.
yeah.
So you don't want to do that. So if you want to pick a state where it's like, okay, you can only go after the assets of what is in my LLC bank account right now.
Sure.
So, but your house is safe, your car is safe, your personal assets are safe, your bank account, etc. So that is the main thing right there, is protect yourself.
Yes.
Friendly, and then again, they're experts at it. They invented the LLC. So
sure. This is incredible, and so I would say protection of from liabilities, huge, from lawsuits, and they invented LLC, so it's pretty streamlined, less compliance, I believe. And I wanted to ask you the third point, which people love. Are there any taxes within Wyoming state for your business?
none. There's no taxes. The only two things you have to do every year to keep your Wyoming company active are to maintain a registered agent, which is an address in Wyoming. We provide that. It's $99 a year. And you file what's called an annual report. It's just a 1 or 2 page document. You can do it online if you want to do it. We can do it for you for a small fee. That's only $100 itself. So think about it. If you use a company like ours, $199 a year to maintain your entire company in Wyoming. That's it.
Oh, damn. To be honest, it's like $19 or $20 a month or something like that. That's the
it's nothing. And then we'll compare that to California. So if you have an LLC in California, $800 minimum franchise tax per year. And then if you make over $1 million in revenue, it goes up depending on how much revenue you're making. So
damn.
That shows you, Delaware, $250 to $300 a year plus the registered agent.
Yes.
And you have to remember, a lot of our competitors, these new guys that are coming on, whatever, they're charging a lot more than $99 a year. I mean, they're charging $199, $269. We've seen as high as $569 for registered agent for 1 year, and we charge $99. So
that's crazy. I mean, that's why, to be honest, we actually form a partnership for our community, because we have reviewed your services. It's highly cost effective. So guys, let me share the link here, and also it will be sticky at the top, and we are actually sharing here as well. Please go through this link to get so Matt knows you're coming from our community, so you can get priority service without any cost. That means it will be other companies, other people are charging for priority services. Here, Matt gave us an exclusive sort of priority service to our members, but you can only tell Matt if you go through that link, which we are sharing here. Don't worry, there is no extra cost from this link. Actually, you get benefit of priority services. So we're going to be sharing that link here. You can go through it if you decide to go. Now, let's go further into Wyoming LLC. So Matt, you shared that annual report, which you could do it, and keeping the registered agent, which you also offer. Other than that, there are no taxes to file within Wyoming. Does that mean, so are you saying that there is 0% corporate tax rate for Wyoming state?
Correct.
Wow, this is, I mean, like, I'm surprised that why not all the businesses like flocking to Wyoming, because 0% sales tax. And if I ask you, most of our entrepreneurs are not selling in Wyoming, let's say. We have products, we have services, we are consultants, and we have sort of, our clients can be anywhere in the world, but they will be paying to our Wyoming business. Is there any sales tax or GST?
No, well, there's a couple of states that have something like that, but and this is you digital nomads. You're not going to be, so say you're selling to me here in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Say you're selling to me. That unless you come here and open a physical office and then you start selling to me, then you would be enabled. You would have to pay the local taxes. Sure. But if you're just selling to me on the phone or with a website and stuff like that, most of the time you do not have to register. Listen, I wish I had better answers. We're like, the United States is like 51 countries if you add DC. So it's like 50 states plus DC. So each one has a little bit different. They've been taxing what are called e-commerce transactions, and there's this tax sales tax law that was passed a while back or certain software and stuff. But putting that all aside, unless you have a physical presence in a state, then you likely don't have to pay anything.
Sure. Yes. I think I can also confirm because I am currently running a Wyoming LLC right now, and I am selling a software. And I have studied it, and I have actually checked out Wyoming state website as well. If you do not do business, if you do not have a physical establishment in Wyoming, like an office, and if you're not sort of doing a physical product, I'm not selling a T-shirt or something from Wyoming state, delivering to any other state, and my business is mostly outside, like most digital nomads, and I am not a US citizen and resident, so there's no tax. I can be, I know you are, of course you are dealing with US citizen and foreigners, but I can say on a foreigner's behalf that there is no corporate tax and there is no sales tax given the conditions Matt and I just laid out. No physical establishment, you're not selling any physical product, it's just consultancy outside Wyoming without any offices in the United States. So that means no sales tax. That means no corporate income tax, guys. So this is incredible. So Matt, is it like Wyoming LLC is considered a pass-through entity? Do you understand this term? Is it?
Yeah, pass-through. Correct. Yeah. So you don't pay. The entity itself does not pay taxes. It passes to you as an individual or to your partner. Say you have two owners of an LLC and you're 50-50. So 50% of the taxes will pass to you, 50% to your partner as an individual. And then you will pay that. And there are federal taxes, which we can talk about, once a year and you pay the federal government in the U.S.
Sure, community. So make sure you do that. Now, Matt, there are already few questions here, and I know we are already like halfway through in the webinar session. Do you think we could jump in? So guys, one thing I want to in advance want to share with you that Matt is not a CPA. So he can share and is not a tax advice, number one. It's just we will be having a discussion to best of our knowledge as just an individual, not a legal advice, not a tax advice. We will be just talking. I'm also running a Wyoming business, so I can also speak from my personal experiences, how the tax would work and how the thing would work. Matt, before we go to the questions, I want to ask you, let's say all the people who are here in the webinar or watching on a YouTube, they decided to go for Wyoming. What is the next step to register a business?
The whole process can be done in about 5 to 10 minutes online on our website. So you just fill out the online form. Depends on how fast you can type, basically. You pick your company name, you put in the names and addresses of the owners. Again, we deal with about 20% of our clients are international. So we deal with a ton of them. So our order forms can fill in, from your country, and we have all the capabilities of figuring out shipping and all that thing. So you just 5 to 10 minutes online, submit that order, give us a couple of days to get it done. Again, we have an account and an office in Wyoming. We literally walk to the Wyoming Secretary of State. By the way, a lot of our competitors don't have that. So they have to go and mail and go back and forth and FedEx and do all these things. We literally just walk it down the street. And then the next day, usually we pick it up and it's done. So
sure. Yeah, that's I think it's an incredible news. So we fill out the form. Again, guys, go through the link, fill out the form, pay the fees. So Mark, how does the fees looks like? Let's say someone goes to your form, fill out the form. How much they have to pay to register a business and obtain the tax ID for their business?
So our most popular package is what's called just the entrepreneur package. And that includes pretty much everything you need to get going. So that includes the EIN, the tax ID, the registered agent, which I talked about earlier, right? And it also includes just the filing itself and state fees. So that package is $199. And then the state fee is $102. So the total to get started, $301, and you basically have a Wyoming company, tax, everything, you're ready to go. You just need a bank account, and we have 5 banking partners integrated with us. So you just log into our portal, pick a bank and go, and we have at least 3 that usually work well for our international folks.
Sure.
So
That's, to be honest, because we also have a deal with 1 or 2 banks, but having 5 is just like a lifesaver. If one bank do not accept your business, you can click on the second one, because every bank has their own sort of like, list which businesses they work with. So that is actually good news. I even didn't know that you have 5 banking option. I'm actually excited now. So I think I should cancel my company, register again through you. No, just kidding. So, okay. So let's, so that is the process. And let's say I have a business now. I signed up. I am running a business. Bank account is open. I am charging the client. Clients are paying into my LLC bank account. And at the end of the year, I just need to file a report through your portal to keep my company in a good standing, is called, right?
yes, absolutely. And by the way, you don't have to think about this. Just keep your email address updated. We will notify you if you have any renewal billing from us to keep your registered agent active. And also, whether you use us or not for registered agent, we give you a free annual report alert anyway. And that doesn't matter what state you're in. So we'll tell you that your annual report is due. We'll say, hey, it's due on this date. Click here to file it online if you want, or to click here to have us do it.
Sure. So one thing I want to also tell you guys, so for international founders like me, I'm a Canadian, by the way, people who actually, someone there asking from the Canadian perspective. But even if you're not opening in Wyoming, Matt will give you the same priority service if you go through link in any of the state, Florida, Nevada, California, anywhere in the US, 50 states. You can see that that's the only service provider which covers all the state with transparency. And above all, Matt is our community partners. Matt is not running away. Matt is not going to hide. He cannot hide anywhere. He's our community partner. He's active there. He will be hosting sessions with us. So this is kind of safe bet. And he's been doing for 21 years. So, it's pretty safe bet compared to new companies that are popping up. So don't worry about it if it's not Wyoming, because I saw the one question. So let's jump into the question, Matt. And of course, there will be some questions I can answer as well as an entrepreneur as running a Wyoming active LLC. And some of them, so we both can answer and see where it goes. So now we established $301. You have a running business, and at the end of the year, you will help them to file this annual report, which is required. That's the compliance. Now let's jump into the question. I know there is a federal compliance as well, guys, where I will be helping you, because I'm also I help entrepreneurs, some tax advising. So let's start with the bottom, starting from the bottom, that's the song. So Mikey is asking, can you also get access to business credit? Do you know the answer for this? Like if you have a business as a foreigner, can you get a business credit? Is there a credit history for businesses?
There is. It's pretty difficult as a brand new company, because basically you're like a kid out of high school, right? So you can't, when you first come out of high school, you can't get a credit card, right? With a $10,000 limit. You can maybe apply for a secured one for $500 or $1,000 or whatever. You'll get business credit, but it'll be smaller. But the way to build that up, and we used to actually offer what's called a business credit building program, but it's so simple. The concept, we just tell people now, all you have to do is open an account. You open an account with FedEx. You open an account with maybe a couple of credit cards. You open maybe like an office supply account, or some of your software as a service. Yeah. And just pay your bills. Pay your bills every month, and after the first year, the amount of credit that you will get will increase and increase and increase. So
just like a normal individual, right?
Yeah, you basically created a new person when you create a company. So that person, no one's going to trust that person with $1 million, right?
Yes.
So you have to start earning it up. But here's the thing: if you start making a lot of money and you can show that to the bank, they're obviously going to say, "Oh, geez, I made $100,000." You can say, "Hey, I made $100,000 last year." Well, here's your $100,000 line of credit. We can always trust you because you're making money. So that kind of thing.
Money is like a solution to many problems. So yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you start cranking cash, you're fine.
So I will move to the next question. Julian is asking, is it also advantageous for a current Canadian business with only Canadian customers and employees in Canada transfer to a US company, what will be the complications? I can, Matt, take this actually answer if you want to answer this. I can
Yeah,
also.
you're probably going to say what I don't see the advantage there unless you want to expand to the U.S. market, or for some reason you want that U.S. credibility. We operate in multiple countries or something.
Yeah, that's a good answer, and I will also say that there are many advantages or many sort of ease for businesses available in Canada. There are a lot of credits, grants. There are so many perks you can get while keeping in Canada. If you move to US, you may not be able to qualify because you are not a US citizen or resident. So double check with it and do the full analysis of benefits and the cost, and then make any choice. You can also talk with me, set up a call with me. I am also fellow Canadian. I can also share some wisdom with you. Okay, so Michaela is asking, do you ever have to visit a Wyoming to open a company? One, and then could the laws ever change for LLCs?
Literally never. I mean, I would say 99% of our customers have never been to Wyoming. So, and I barely go, and I have an office there. So, the laws, the laws change always. I can't predict what the laws are going to change, but Wyoming, if anything, they just keep getting better and better. They now have DAO LLC, for cryptocurrencies and stuff like that.
Wow.
So they're very modern in what they will allow. They have it's called a DAO LLC. So they're very, very. They know that they make a lot of money themselves from people overseas and other states. So if they wanted to change the laws to make it worse, harder to do business, they would lose a ton of revenue. So there's no incentive for them to do that.
I think nobody knows doing business better than Wyoming, right? Because they created the LLC. They offer that incredible structure in the middle, not a sole proprietorship, not a corporation. It's a mixture of both. I think so. Michaela, to answer your question, I highly doubt that they will change any law to impact negatively towards businesses or international founders, as they make a lot of money from annual reporting and other things. So another question, what about taxes on dividends? Let's say if an international person draw like a profit from the Wyoming. I don't know if you are qualified or you would like to answer this question.
Well, the wording is a little weird. Dividends are usually for a corporation.
Yes.
For an LLC, they're called distributions, and that's just the money that you take from the company and you give to yourself. Sure. So because an LLC is a pass-through entity, like we were talking earlier, there is no taxes on the entity. It just goes to you, and whatever your income level is, that's the taxes you pay as an individual on your profit.
So makes sense. Okay, so guys, if you're a U.S. citizen, whichever state you are a resident, you will be filing your personal individual taxes, and you will be reporting that distribution as a profit from your LLC, and then you will be taxed accordingly. You need to contact your CPA, and if you're an international founders, there are few things you need to take care of. Whichever country you are in, if it has a double treaty with the US because this income is coming from the US, there is a source of income determination, and there is also a filing with federal IRS. So there are few things you need to take care of taking a profit as an international founder versus if you're a US founder. It's pretty simple. Nothing to worry. You will report everything on your personal income taxes. Is that correct, Matt?
That is correct.
Sure. Okay, perfect. And I will move further. So Nick is asking, can you apply for US credit cards with the LLC? I think we already covered that you need to build you need to build your credit history by doing this USP FedEx accounts, and then maybe you can apply. There is one hack I want to share with you, that there are certain countries, there are 10 countries. If you have a credit history in those countries, there is a company called Nova Credit. Please talk to me, send me a message, I can share, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm transferring my Canadian credit history to US. So This is an incredible new startup, and we are partnering up with them as well. So talk to me if you are one of those 10 countries. I remember Mexico, Korea, Canada, Switzerland, some European countries are covered. So let's talk. We can explore in that, and actually very exciting. If your country is not there, then of course, as Matt suggested earlier, you need to build. It's a slow game. You need to build your credit history and then apply for any credit cards.
And you can get them. You just won't have a very high limit at first.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Sure. Makes sense. Michaela's asking, what are the federal taxes and how does that work? I mean, if you feel free to not answer or.
Well, I think we went over them. So if you have an LLC, you do have to file your annual tax return. You're not going to pay as an LLC. You will pay as an individual. There is a form 5472. It's a pretty simple form for U.S. taxes. You have to remember some of the corporate forms can be 20 pages or whatever. The 5472 is 3 pages. We have tax partners. Maybe you have tax partners. I think they charge $300 to $500 to do the whole thing. There's a couple of other forms that you have to fill out, a 1040 NR, non-resident, stuff like that. But it's pretty simple, and that's the tax. The taxes will depend on your income.
Sure. Okay, and also the source of income, I believe, right?
I think so. I'm not 100% up on foreign taxes, sure. But and you did mention the tax treaty, which is very important. Make sure you look up if your country has a tax treaty, because then you won't have anything, which is amazing.
Yes. Yeah. So Michaela, let's connect with me as well. In Wyoming, we do not owe any taxes. We don't even need to file income tax in Wyoming on a state level. On federal level, there is a form, as Matt says, 5472, that needs to be filed along with 1020, I believe. You must be wondering 1020 is for corporations. Don't worry about it.
It's 1120, yeah. But you just have to put like 3 things on there, right? Like your name, EIN, stuff like that.
Yeah. 1120 with 5472. That is the 2 forms, plus maybe NR 1040, I believe, right? Which you mentioned.
Yeah.
So that could be a requirement or not, depends. There's a lot of complexities around that, but 2 forms are for sure that you will be submitting to IRS, and boom, you are compliant. Okay, let's go to Frank. How do I make a not pass through Wyoming LLC? I think that would be called.
Remember, you're taking a very simple, nice entity and you're adding a massive level of complexity. You're now taxed like a C corporation. You will file an 1120C, which is 30 pages. I mean, it's 3 times more expensive, maybe 4 times more expensive to have a CPA do that than an LLC. So just be careful why you would want to do that. I don't know, but that's the complexity you're looking at. And then in that case, if you're looking for the benefits of, having stock and shareholders and that whole thing, you might as well just form a C corporation in the first place, which we also do. We can help you with.
Yeah. Sure. So Frank, in short, do not register LLC and then convert it to C Corp. Just directly register a C Corp with the help of Matt, and then take it further. Maybe I understand, maybe you just want to keep the money. Some people like to keep the profit in the company and reinvest. So some corporate structures offer that if you do not take profits, there is no taxes, something like that. Maybe Frank is coming from that angle, but of course.
Yeah, I believe that's what he's saying. Yeah. And that's how you would do that, because if the money stays in the company, you don't pay the taxes till you distribute it, right? Yeah. But you're going to pay the taxes on the money sitting in the account. Yeah. You get taxed either way. I mean, I see all these things and it's just like, unless you're doing millions and millions of dollars, playing all these games and trying to save a little bit of taxes here and there, in my opinion, is not worth it. The complexity and the mental complexity of just trying to, where am I, I'm making 5% here or losing 5%, unless it's millions and millions of dollars, then you can have a pro who will just move your money around for you and do all those things. So,
To be honest, if I'm making $1 billion, I would have a dedicated team who's doing my
they would do that already. And that's what Google and, these other, they use weird things like Irish entities, to run their money through stuff because they have a lower corporate tax. So,
that makes sense. That tool makes sense. And so Matt, again, I really appreciate for all your answers and gold knowledge you're dropping here. Appreciate it. I'll quickly move. I know we have way over our time, but please allow us a few more questions Chandika is asking, if I already received money this year and I open an LLC now, can I still funnel the funds through it with contract amendments, or are only new projects able to go through LLC?
Yeah, just have them update the contract. Just amend the contract and have them pay you as your LLC.
Yeah, but
Simple enough.
also I would say if you already earned money directly on your personal account, then why you want to go put that back into LLC and then take it back? You can just keep. I humbly think that maybe new contract would make more sense. Other unless there are specific reasons, Chandika, which you want to do through that. If you can tell us more, then maybe we could answer. But otherwise, follow as Matt said. Totally, you can do that. Or also, I suggested you can also just do the new ones and keep the old ones. Keep the
Yeah,
money. Yeah,
some people want to take previous money, that they've earned and put it in the LLC, and that's
yeah,
fine. You can do that. You can transfer it in, but
sure.
like you were saying, you'll just end up an LLC. They're just going to tax you anyway, or it'll still come back to you in some way.
Yeah.
So there's really unless you need the cash.
Yes.
And maybe that's the real question. Does the entity need more cash? Then yes, take that money and transfer it in and say, hey, that was for services previously rendered.
Sure.
And
maybe
you would put that.
Maybe want to call the business expenses as well, right? Maybe.
Yeah, and then you could note that in your operating agreement, which we show you how to do this. By the way, when you set up through us, we give you what's called the startup wizard. So it goes through step by step. Here's how I adopt my operating agreement. Here's how I distribute cash to myself or put money in the company. Here's how to open the bank account. Here's a resolution to do that. We give you an online portal. It just goes through that. You just check off the items one by one.
That's incredible. We are really excited, guys. And guys, whenever you're planning, either let Matt know and go through this link so you are treated a VIP. Moving to next question, Mickey's asking, does this help with getting residency? Maybe I could answer. Matt, your answer would be no, I assume. But as a visa expert, Visadb.io founder, I don't think so, because immigration is a separate matter than business. There are visas available where you can utilize your existing LLC or business to show to the immigration authority that you're running an active business and now you have to make a visit. So it could maybe ease your process. Maybe it could satisfy immigration officer that you're making a move for your business meeting or something, but they are not connected. The Wyoming LLC versus immigration visa, I assume, correct, Matt?
That's correct. And but you do make a good point. It only helps your case. If you're saying, hey, this person already has a U.S. entity, they're familiar with our laws, they're generating revenue in the U.S. I think immigration would rather have that than someone who is not. So and there used to be, and I don't know if this is the case, there used to be entrepreneur kind of visas and stuff like that. And so I don't know if they still have those, but if you could demonstrate entrepreneurial activity, I mean, it can only make your case better. It certainly won't hurt it.
Yeah, it won't hurt it. And Mickey, there are visas which allow become a director of a U.S. company or employee transfer between the company, not LLC maybe, but if you register a C Corp and you have a subsidy in other country, you can do the employee transfer. It's called L1 visa. So in that specific cases, yes, having a U.S. business helps. The only key, as Matt and I both said, that business is doing great. Money talks, right? So, all right, I'll go to Diane. If I open an S Corp in Florida and I wanted to create an LLC in the future, would it make sense to open one in Wyoming?
Open an S Corp in Florida this week and wanted to create an LLC in the future. For the same company, or I'm not. Maybe I don't understand.
Yes, maybe. Dan, I don't know, if they are connected business or you're opening a subsidy or something. But otherwise, they're two different entities. They're two different people, so they will be running their own paradigm. So they're not connected. So you can totally open any number of businesses in any number of states. And if you're asking Wyoming as an independent, yes, Wyoming is the best. That's what we're talking here.
Right.
Frank is asking, can you talk about getting the business bank account as a foreigner?
Well, geez, like even 2 years ago and longer ago, that used to be a disaster. It would take weeks and months. Often, it would require a trip to the U.S. or at least a bank visit from a branch locally. Say, maybe like Citibank is in India. You could go to Citibank in India and maybe get the account. Now all that's gone. It's all online. We have at least 3 banks that can help you. It can be a little complicated. Listen, if they can't verify your identity very well, maybe your country doesn't have very advanced, like digital identity kind of stuff. But we're seeing at least 95% of our customers are able to open the account online. And you can just go through that, probably 10, 15-minute application online. The banks have to do this because they have terrorism laws and stuff they have to follow. So you'll have to do you'll probably have to upload your passport or your ID. You may have to have a video, call where they do an identity kind of scan, whatever, to match your ID. But they get it done now, and it's not nearly as hard as it used to be.
Yeah. So guys, I mean, I am the admin of the group. Please reach me out as well if you have any questions. I have opened bank accounts. I have 2 bank accounts remotely, 100%, never been there. Just uploaded my passport copy, as Matt says, and they check out my website. Maybe they read the terms and conditions that I'm doing a legitimate business, and voila, I have 2 bank accounts with 2 different companies, 2 different service providers, and it's better to have 2 bank accounts, to be honest. And then, yeah, it was pretty easy. And as I agree with Matt, 2 years ago, it was a dream to open a bank account remotely, but now it's much easier thanks to this new innovative startup stuff. I will be asking last 2 questions here. Max is asking, regarding LLC with a single founder, how much is the cost of setting that up, and what is the monthly yearly cost for keeping it? That's the first part. I think we already talked about it.
We did. So it's $301 with us, $301, and to set it up, and then every year with us, you pay $100 to the state for the annual report, and you can file that online yourself. Sure. And then you pay $99 to us for the registered agent. That's your address. We're your representative in Wyoming. That's how we maintain the entity and stuff like that. That's the very basics. You can add on things like mail and phone and stuff like that for like $39 a month for stuff like that. But for the very basic, most people don't even use the phone anymore. They just go and get a
Skype
simple,
number.
Skype or whatever. So that's the very basics. So let's call it $300 to register it, and $200 to maintain it a year.
Oh, that's incredible. So guys, $200 a year for the whole year running a U.S. business. I think this is mind blowing. If the company invests in generates revenue overseas, are there any taxes applied, and when that revenue is distributed to the founder? So Max, quickly, that depends on 2 things. If you're international founders, double tax treaty, and how you are taxed in your country, because this is a pass-through entity. You need to report to IRS with 2 forms which we mentioned, so they would know. And any profit you take, this could be subject to withholding tax. So you need to watch out, and it's better if it seems like you're generating good revenue. So it would be ideal to take a consultancy from a CPA, and Matt could offer you some partners, and we can also offer you some partners. That's not a problem. But within Wyoming, you don't have to pay any corporate taxes. That's what we know. And subject to IRS, this could be withholding or not. That depends on a few variables, which we don't know. So we need to figure out. So yeah, as tax is complicated, so we need to know a lot of information before any sort of suggestion. But what we are talking is a general sort of rules, and it's not a tax advice. All right, I think we are pretty much done, and maybe there is other questions or not. So first, again, Matt, I really want to first show my gratitude on the behalf of 155,000 people who are not here, of course, but they will be watching the replay. They'll be watching on YouTube, and we will be making small videos out of this session. So really, really thank you, Matt, first.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, and happy to answer all these questions. Really, we love digital nomads. We serve them all the time, so it's our wheelhouse. So we're happy to
Sure.
continue to serve them.
Yeah, I think I'll give another one-time roundup, guys. So I would encourage you, please go to this, save this link, because Matt would know that you're coming from our community. Matt is a very like community approved service provider. So you will be single day priority service you will get if you go through this link without any cost. Second, Matt offers incorporation, registrar, phone service, address, virtual address in all of the states. So don't be shy. Reach out, and that service which we cost talk about, it also includes business banking, which Matt's connect with 5 different business banks. And yeah, so the website address is there at the top. I mean, let me share it again, guys. Save this up and share this with all the fellow nomads, so you can tell. Okay, where is the icon? So yeah, there is a link you can see, which is at the top. I pinned it. Save it, and yeah, sign up with Matt, and he will be doing it. I repeat again, not only Wyoming, anywhere in the United States, 50 states, all the services, voicemail, address, registrar, incorporation, getting EIN. This is very important as well, getting EIN. So all the services provided. I think Matt is the cheapest compared to the main competitors or the main advertisement you see from most of the company formation. And Matt is a real person. This is not a web page. He's not. He's not an app. He's not a web page. He is working with us. He's our friend, and he's been doing the 20 years. So you are in safe hands, and he will be hanging around in our community. And this is not the first event. So feel free, check out My Company Works. And it's not only my words. You can research the reviews. You'll find amazing reviews around that. So decide it, and also reach me out. I'm accessible. Message me. I'm also like you. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm managing a Wyoming LLC. So you can also ask me questions around that. So Matt, promise me to have a wonderful weekend and take a lot of rest, because I know you work hard.
Thank you. Do that yourself as well.
Okay. All right, Matt. So talk to you later, as we will host you again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.